Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All glories to the beautiful hill, Giri Govardhan ki Jai. Jai Shri Yashoda Damodar ji ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Vrindavan Bhumi Dham ki Jai. Ananta Kori Vaishnavrinda ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premananda. So thank you very much, Sudev Prabhu and Renu Mataji, for having us over. Very nice to see all the devotees. Welcome to everybody who have come today. Today is not only the Karthik month, but it is also a very special occasion. Today is the day that we celebrate the wonderful pastime of Krishna lifting Govardhan hill. It is actually the day of Govardhan Puja. So today is the actual day that actually Krishna enacted this beautiful pastime. And I thought that, today we should concentrate on the glory of Govardhan and speak about this wonderful Leela. We've all have become experts with Yashoda and Damodar. I think if you close eyes and they put you in a state of coma, you can still repeat the pastime. But it is important for us to also hear the pastime of Govardhan. It is stated that actually the purpose of Krishna coming into this world is not only to annihilate the demonic personalities, but more importantly to protect those who are devotees. This is a very important point. We should not forget that. It is so nicely stated, in the prayers of Shukadev Goswami, that Krishna comes to check the atheistic temperament of the devotees. Not just the atheistic temperament of the living entities, but also the devotees. Sometimes in Kali Yuga, even if we are trying to practice devotional service, thank you, Prabhu. Even if we are trying to practice devotional service, there are very often times when we have the tendency to be demonic in nature because of the nature of Kali Yuga. We want to try and be the best devotees that we can be, but the modes of material nature are very strong, and sometimes they bear down upon us, and even though we are devotees, we don't necessarily behave the way devotees should behave. So when that happens, Krishna does something very nice. He actually checks the atheistic temperament, not just of the demonic, but also the devotees. The Govardhan pastime is very unique because the Govardhan pastime involves two devotees. It involved Indra and it involved Govardhan. Don't forget that Indra is a great Devata, and actually all Devatas are great devotees of the Lord. They are more exalted than you and I, and that is why Krishna has given them administrative positions. Indra was the king, and he was the lord of Swargaloka, and he was very qualified to do that. He was also in charge of the rains, the thunderstorm, and all of this. So therefore, he had a very responsible position. And because of his responsible position, every year, the residents of Govardhan would get together and they would actually perform Indra Puja. They did Indra Puja because they felt that if Indra did not give rains, then they were agrarian people, they were agricultural people. And you all know in agriculture, rain is one of the most important components for good farming. So therefore, they felt that Indra was the person to whom we must give all our prayer and our gratitude to. So every year, without fail, the residents of Vrindavan would perform all the beautiful prayers. Now, one day they were preparing all the prayers, and they did Indra's prayers at the foot of Govardhan hill. Now, Govardhan hill had been in Vrindavan for thousands of years. Thousands of years. Govardhan had been there for many, many, many years. And the beauty of Govardhan hill is that Govardhan hill was the shelter for all the Vrindavan residents. Govardhan supplied them with fresh water, supplied them with beautiful flowers, trees, fruits, herbs. In the summer and winter, Govardhan had many caves. And in these caves, the boys and Krishna would go and hide. Either they would take shelter of the cave because it was too hot, or they would take shelter of the cave because it was too cold. The cave was both useful in both ways. And the caves were all provided by Govardhan. Clear drinking water was coming. It was stated in Bhagavatam, even very, very valuable jewels were actually found on Govardhan. And Govardhan was actually the shelter for all animals, calves, cows, deer, peacocks, all kinds of birds. Even the snakes were in Govardhan. But Govardhan treated everyone with love and care. And Govardhan allowed everyone to take whatever Govardhan had. Govardhan had all the necessities that could take care of Vrindavan. All the residents had to do was always turn to Govardhan. And yet, for some reason, they were always praying to Indra, because they felt that without rain, they wouldn't be able to perform all their agricultural activities. So one day, Krishna had satisfied the wives of the Brahmanas. In the previous pastime, Krishna satisfied the wives of the Brahmanas by giving them darshan and by accepting their offerings. After he had finished that pastime, Krishna was walking by with the cowherd boys, when suddenly he came across this great elaborate Indra Puja being ready. So Krishna turned to Nanda Maharaj and all the cowherd men, and he asked a very important question. He said, Father, what is the purpose of this yajna? Second, who is the object for which this yajna is being done? Thirdly, is it necessary that we have to do this? For whose satisfaction is it going to be done? So these are all questions I have, Father, for you, so kindly answer them. Now, Nanda Maharaj, Bhagavatam tells us, always felt that Krishna was asking many questions. And you know, sometimes when children ask questions, adults have this thinking that we know better than them. We don't have to answer them. But that is not true. And that is definitely not true of Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But he was asking these pointed questions because he was wanting his father and the residents of Vrindavan to arrive at a different conclusion. What Krishna was telling, Srila Prabhupada says, was that so many years you are following a tradition which really has no basis. And very often we also do that, isn't it? Prabhupada writes in Bhagavatam Krishna book that sometimes we have traditions, but we don't know where the traditions came from. We don't know the purpose of the tradition. If we were to ask you, Prabhu, show me the scripture where the tradition is, we wouldn't know also. We'll just say somebody did it, I'm doing it also. You know, there is that famous story where a boy sat down to watch his sister being married. And as she was getting married in the hall, there was so much of elaborate items. You know, when marriage is there, so many items are there, the havan is there. And then all of a sudden, a cat came into the room. And it threatened to mess up all the preparations for the wedding. So immediately the pujari was very quick. He got a basket and he put it over the cat. And the moment he did that, the cat stayed still. So the whole wedding went on with the cat also in the corner under a basket. And the boy witnessed it. Years later, when he grew up and his turn was there to be married, he saw the pujari getting everything ready in his house. Then he told the pujari, Panditji, you have missed one item. Panditji said, what? Where's the cat? It's traditional, you must have a cat with a basket over it. Then we can go on with the wedding. So what happens with us is we follow traditions without realizing some grandfather, some grandmother threw one thing in and we take that up and it becomes tradition. And they have no idea what they did and we have no idea why they did it and it becomes tradition. But there is no basis for it. So Krishna was questioning not only the residents of Govardhan but us also. If you do something, do it because there is a tradition for it. That is very important. Govardhan Puja is a tradition. It is found in our Shastras. So we worship Govardhan. So then Nanda Maharaj said, Krishna, the reason why we do this is because without Indra, there will be no rains. And Krishna countered that. Krishna said, you know why Indra is giving rains? Indra is giving rains because we are the ones performing yajna for him. If we don't perform yajna, he won't give rain. And that is found in Bhagavad Gita actually. When we perform yajna, the devatas become happy, then they give rain and grains and everything. So actually Krishna was right. What Krishna was trying to tell the residents of Vrindavan was that don't think that Indra is the one who is taking care of you. Then Krishna told them, actually we are village people. We are not city people. And if we are village people, do you not think in Vrindavan, who do you think Father is supplying us currently with everything? Who? And Nanda Maharaj and the men thought, actually who? Then they thought, actually it is Govardhan. This hill Govardhan is supplying us with everything. In fact, the puja paraphernalia that we need for Indra is coming from Govardhan only. So Krishna said, if the paraphernalia itself is coming from Govardhan, shouldn't we worship Govardhan? And because we are worshipping Govardhan, he is taking care of us. So why are we worshipping Indra? Actually, Krishna did this deliberately. Because Krishna realized that Indra, even though he was a devotee, he was thinking that he was very great. He was thinking the residents of Vrindavan cannot do anything without me. Therefore, I am the reason why they are doing very nicely. See, sometimes we are proud, but we may not show our pride externally. We may appear very humble, Prabhu, I'm nothing. You tell me I give a good class, I say, Prabhu, it was nothing. But in my heart, I want more praises. So I'm becoming proud, you see. I don't know, but I'm becoming proud. But Krishna is in the heart as Antaryami. He is the super soul, he's Paramatma. So Krishna knew that Indra's pride was growing. And therefore he decided it's time to check the pride. You have a saying in English, pride comes before fall. You've heard of that, right? Before you fall, you become proud and then you fall. So Krishna wanted to stop and check this pride. Remember we spoke about it? One of the purposes why Krishna comes is to check the atheistic advancement and temperament of a devotee. This pride is an atheistic temperament. If we are really devotees, we should not be proud because we know that whatever potency that is coming to us is coming from Krishna. In the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Paurusham Rishu. He says, I am ability in man. I am ability. Whatever ability you have is coming from Krishna. So Nanda Maharaj and the boy and the residents of Vrindavan became convinced by Krishna. Krishna said, we are forest dwellers. We are therefore indebted to Govardhan. Therefore, Father, do one thing. You have gathered all this paraphernalia. All you have to do is change the object of worship. Instead of worshipping Indra, let us worship Govardhan. Now remember, at this point of time, don't forget, Govardhan may look like a hill, but Govardhan is a great devotee of the Lord. He is considered one of the purest devotees of the Lord. And therefore, Krishna was directing them to worship a devotee because when we respect and honor and serve a devotee, it is as good as serving Krishna. This is a very important point. Then he said, if you do this sacrifice and worship Govardhan and glorify Govardhan today, you will please Govardhan. You will please all the residents of Vrindavan and you will please me. Krishna said that, you will please me with a capital M, right? Now, the moment Nanda Maharaj heard that actually this would please Krishna, then Nanda Maharaj said, done deal. Krishna, I am going to do this because we want to please you. All the cowherd men said, Krishna, you are the object of our life. If you tell us this will please you, we will of course please you. This is the mood of all the residents of Vrindavan. They may have their own mindset, but the moment Krishna says, no, I will be happy if you do this, they will change their mindset. Are we prepared to do that? That's an important question. If we are really followers of Krishna and devotees of Krishna, are we prepared to change our mindset and lifestyle to absorb Krishna in our lives? That's the real question. That's the test of love. And so, with all the humility at their command, they accepted Krishna. Why humility? Don't forget, Nanda Maharaj and the cowherd men were men. They were grown up. Nanda Maharaj was literally the king of Vrajadham actually, right? And yet he had the humility to listen to his child Krishna. See the opposite of Indra. Indra was growing in pride, but the residents of Vrindavan were growing in humility. And so they prepared everything. Nice arrangements were made. All the offerings came. Beautiful Vedic mantras were chanted. All the food offerings. There's an entire 2-3 pages in Bhagavatam of all the food offerings that came. If I recite them now, you tell me to stop because you become hungry and you will need prasadam. It's very, very relishable. Oh, so much of sweets, so much of savories, so much of preparations were made lovingly. And they brought everything together. And Krishna now started directing them how to perform the worship. He said, you put this here, you put that there, you put this here, you put that there. Now you start doing arati. And they performed arati for Govardhan. And they made all their offerings to Govardhan. And then they all started circumambulating Govardhan, because Krishna led them in circumambulation. So you see, the Lord is really known as Satam Patihi. Satam Patihi means he is the leader of the devotees. Krishna leads by example. And as devotees, we must lead by example. We cannot wait for others to show others what to do in bhakti. Each one of us has a responsibility to actually lead others to bhakti. And Krishna showed that. And so Krishna made all the residents very happy. As they moved around Giri Govardhan, they were chanting the glories of Govardhan. And then they started chanting the glories of Krishna. And you all know, the moment we chant the glories of Krishna, we all become very happy. Tava katha amritam, tapta jivanam, kavi biriditam, kalmasapaham, shravana mangalam, shrimadatatam, bhuvi granantiye, buride janaha. The devotees, the Vrindavan devotees, they say that Krishna, just by hearing the nectarian pastimes, everything becomes Amrit. And we are living our lives. Our lives are being sustained just by remembering your pastimes. Your pastimes are Shravana Mangalam. They are very auspicious and they drive away all the kalmasam. Whatever dirt that is in our hearts, they go away. So the residents of Vrindavan, they heard about Krishna, they saw Krishna, they followed Krishna. And they started worshipping Govardhan Hill. And then at the height of this Govardhan Puja, Krishna did something very amazing. Krishna then assumed an unprecedented, huge form. He became very, very large. Something that they had never seen. One moment Krishna was there. At the same time, simultaneously, Krishna assumed a huge form. And he assumed this huge form to instill faith in the devotees. And what did he say? He started telling all the devotees, give me more and give me more. And as he asked for more and more, what did he do? All the residents brought more and more offerings for Krishna. And not only did they offer it to Govardhan, they started offering it to Krishna. And Krishna took all their offerings and he ate all their offerings. Actually, if Krishna did that today, we would all be in difficulty, isn't it? You imagine you offer the offering there. After you ring the bell, close the curtain, open the curtain, offering all gone. What will happen to you? Krishna is very kind. Half the time we are offering because we know it's coming back to us. That's why we are very happy with Krishna. But in Govardhan Leela, Krishna took everything. Nothing was left. He was so happy, he kept consuming and consuming it. And then the residents began to realize that Krishna was showing them a very important point. Krishna was showing that he was Govardhan Hill, but at the same time, Govardhan Hill was simultaneously different. He was also a devotee. So that's why Govardhan Leela is very special. In Govardhan Leela, Govardhan Hill is a devotee, and yet simultaneously, Govardhan Hill is also Krishna. Is also Krishna. You must remember this. If you go today to Vrindavan Dham and you move around Govardhan Hill, the residents of Vrindavan don't call Govardhan Hill Govardhan. They call Govardhan Hill Baba. They say if you have any problems, you sit down and you speak to Babaji and he will answer. If you ask them who is Babaji, they will say he is the greatest devotee and he is also Krishna. For us it is mind-boggling, but this is the greatness of Govardhan Hill. And then Krishna assumed his form and he bowed before Govardhan Hill. As the Lord, he bowed before the great devotee Govardhan. And then Nanda Maharaj and everybody bowed down. And the beautiful Govardhan Puja finished. Indra became very upset. Indra could see Because Indra was expecting, today is the day they will make all their offerings for me. No offerings came. And then he realized what had happened. And Indra became furious. And he called for the Samvartaka clouds. The Samvartaka clouds are the clouds Indra will unleash at the time of destruction of this world. And they are so powerful that they can deluge a certain place in no time at all. And they can send down hailstones the size of rocks onto the ground. These were the Samvartaka clouds. Indra became very upset, and he thought that this is all because of that little boy Krishna. Who is this Krishna? In Bhagavatam, Indra describes Krishna as too smart and over talkative. Too smart and over talkative. And then he said, not only is this boy at fault, but these grown-up men are so foolish to listen to this over-talkative boy. Therefore, the whole of Vrindavan must become punished. They must all be punished. And so he said, clouds, go now and rain on Vrindavan like there is no end. Finish Vrindavan, inundate Vrindavan. I'm also coming on Airavata. And not only will you pour rain, but I will strike Vrindavan with thunder and lightning. And the residents of Vrindavan will regret that they have not worshipped me properly. Now, initially, the Samvartaka clouds were very scared. They said, Indra, actually, this is not the time for us to go. We are supposed to leave only when creation is being dissolved. So our job description is off a little bit today. We're not supposed to go now. Indra said, you are under me, right? So go. And they reluctantly went. Now, the moment the clouds reached Vrindavan, the residents were still outside. Some of them were inside. The cows and calves were grazing on Govardhan hill. Everything seemed very peaceful. And then the clouds came and whole Vrindavan became dark, very dark. And then the rains began. The residents thought this is just normal rain, but it didn't stop. The rain kept going on and going on. Then the residents of Vrindavan realized that the rain was flooding Vrindavan Dham. The lakes were overflowing. The rivers were overflowing. Yamuna ji could not control herself because there was too much rain. And now the whole Vrindavan became flooded. And now the residents started running out of their houses because their houses were being washed away. And in that mood, they became so pitiful. But instead of blaming Krishna, because they realized now rain is coming from who? Coming from Indra, isn't it? Indra must be really angry and upset because we didn't do Indra Puja. We listened to Krishna. Now, if I were the residents of Vrindavan, I will go to Krishna and complain, Krishna, you see what you've done? Because of you, we are now in difficulty. But the residents of Vrindavan didn't do that. They didn't scold Krishna. They didn't blame Krishna. They all just ran to Krishna. And when they ran to Krishna, they only had one prayer. And let's repeat this prayer. Krishna, Krishna, Mahabhaga.
Krishna, Krishna, Mahabhaga.
Tvam natam gokulam prabho.
Tvam natam gokulam prabho.
Tratum arhahi devanaha.
Tratum arhahi devanaha.
Kupitat bhaktavatsalaha.
Kupita bhaktavatsala.
The meaning is very beautiful. They say, Krishna, Krishna, you are Mahabhaga. You are most fortunate. When you say, what they meant was, not that Krishna, you are just most fortunate. What they meant was, Krishna, you are the person who brings fortune to us. You see the point? They say, Krishna, you are Mahabhaga. Wherever you are, good fortune is always there. This is how they address Krishna. Then they said, Krishna, please, please save us from the anger of Indra. You are the most munificent and you are the most kind to the devotees. Kupitat bhaktavatsala. You are the friend of the devotees. Therefore, please come and please save us also. They say, please save us also. If you read carefully the translation, the residents of Vrindavan are saying, Krishna, you're always the friend of the devotees. Please save us also. What do they mean? What they mean is, we are not devotees. But you save us also. You see the point? They are the greatest devotees of Krishna. But they had so much humility in their heart. They said, Krishna, you are the friend of devotees. But we are not devotees. But you please save us also. This is the mood of Vrindavan residents. A real devotee never thinks that they are devotees. They think that they are aspiring to be devotees. But they never think in their heart, I've arrived. I'm there. I'm at the pinnacle of devotional service. They don't. Indra thought he was at the pinnacle of who he was. But the residents of Vrindavan said, please save us also. And when Krishna saw that the residents of Vrindavan were in difficulty, what was his reaction? He thought to himself, all this is because of Indra's anger, which has come from his ego and which is coming from his pride. See? Pride, then ego, and anger. Whenever there is pride, our false ego will come up. When there is false ego, there is another E. It is envy. Indra was envious of the residents of Vrindavan. In fact, he was also envious of the over-talkative boy Krishna. And that is why he was punishing. So when we are envious in nature, because we are proud, we will always try to inflict harm on others. Even if we don't slap people, in our hearts we will not mean them well. Krishna counts that also as a slap. Okay? He will know it. You and I may hide it, but he will know it. And so Krishna said, Indra has a mountain of pride in his heart. It's interesting he says that, because who is the mountain actually? Govardhan is the mountain, But Krishna is saying, Indra has a mountain of pride in his heart. And yet by saying that, Krishna is saying that Govardhan is a mountain, but he is the humblest of all. See the comparison? Indra has a mountain of pride. Govardhan is a mountain, but he has no pride at all. Therefore today, I will break the false prestige of Indra. And by breaking his false prestige, I will actually give him my mercy. This is Krishna. Krishna sometimes will slap us, sometimes he will cuddle us. But either way, it is still his mercy. We must accept it. And now he says, I must protect my devotees. My devotees have given their lives to me. I must protect Govardhan. Because don't forget, as the lightnings came down, lightnings will hit the highest point. Isn't it so? And what was the highest point in Vrindavan? Govardhan. So Govardhan was receiving the most amount of lightning strikes. But Govardhan was not complaining. Because Govardhan felt, let me absorb the lightning strikes and let it not strike the residents of Vrindavan. Let me give them, let me serve them in this way. When Krishna saw what a great devotee Govardhan is, how selfless he is, how unconditional is his love for the devotees, Krishna said, it is time for me to save them. So what did Krishna do? He quickly ran out from his house. Now Bhagavatam, some people ask, Bhagavatam brings up this point. Some people ask, how did Krishna run to Govardhan hill and not get wet? Because it was raining. But when Krishna came out of his house, Bhagavatam says, internal potency, Yogamaya, immediately pushed the reins above Krishna and created a dry patch as he was running. Because Krishna is Krishna. And Yogamaya is actually the umbrella for Krishna. And so Krishna ran to the hill, not being wet. And then he touched Giri Govardhan with his finger, little finger, left hand, weak hand, weakest finger. He touched Giri Govardhan. When he touched Giri Govardhan, Govardhan became empowered. And Krishna then lifted Giri Govardhan. Now Giri Govardhan was a hill at that point of time. But he was not big enough to cover the whole Vrindavan Dham, and certainly not big enough to shelter all the residents of Vrindavan. But the moment Krishna touched Govardhan and lifted him up with his left hand and the little pinky finger on his left hand, Govardhan became so enlivened by Krishna's touch. In Bhagavatam, it is known as Yonta Pravishya Mama Vacha Mimam Prasuptam Saktidara Swaghana. Saktidara. This Saktidara is very important. This Saktidara means that Krishna actually empowered Govardhan with his Shakti. And when he gave him this Shakti, he gave that Shakti in such a way that Govardhan could become expansive. Not expensive, but expansive. Right? Govardhan increased his size. And then Krishna invited all the residents of Govardhan, of Vrindavan, come under the hill. Govardhan is giving you shelter. Krishna didn't say, I'm giving you shelter. Again, he's glorifying, Govardhan is giving you shelter. And all the residents of Vrindavan ran seeing Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Maha Bhaga. He is the source of all good fortune. They all ran and they came under Govardhan. And for 7 days and 7 nights, Krishna kept Govardhan Hill as the source of shelter and all the residents of Vrindavan. When I say residents, Bhagavatam means the animals, right? All the animals, they all came under Govardhan. And even though there were some deer and other little animals still on top of Govardhan, Bhagavatam said that every time Indra struck Govardhan, because of Krishna's hand, because of Krishna's finger, Govardhan was what we call Brahma Sparshanam. And therefore, the strong lightning strikes on Govardhan were like jasmine flower garlands being thrown at someone. If someone throws you a garland, it's not going to hurt you. It won't, I mean, don't try it, but it won't, right? Someone throws you a plate from the kitchen in a fight, then it's going to be a big problem, right? Then it's going to be a big problem, right? So that's a different thing. So therefore, Krishna is so kind that he invested Govardhan with his powers. Indra kept striking Govardhan, but Govardhan became jubilant because he was being touched by Krishna. And he played the perfect part of the perfect servant. And for 7 days and 7 nights, the residents of Vrindavan had uninterrupted devotional service with Krishna. And this was what they wanted. Their desire always was, can I be with Krishna 24/7? That's all they wanted. The gopis used to curse Brahma. Brahma, why did you create eyelids for us? Because we have to blink, isn't it? And when we blink, we can't see Krishna. It's a fraction of a minute. But for the gopis, it is like yuga. Right? This is very important. Atatiyad bhavan ahanikananam trute yugayate tvam apashyatam putila kuntalam shrimukam chate jada udikshitam pakshma kridrisham. The gopis say, Krishna, in the morning you go to the forest and we cannot see you. In the evening when you come back, you are so nice to see, but we have these eyelids and we have to blink. And every time we blink, we can't see you. It is like a yuga of separation. How many times have we blinked today? There I can see all of you are still blinking. Again, you blink. Blinking. But as we are blinking, do we feel, oh, I can't see Krishna, and we roll on the ground in sadness? Nobody is feeling that way. We are blinking away and Krishna is there, but we don't care because there is no bhakti. This is Vrindavan. This is the greatness of bhakti. And so they all became happy. The cowherd men could see Krishna. The cowherd boys were playing a fool with Krishna. They were saying, Krishna, is it very heavy, the hill? We have muscles, right? Why don't you let go and we'll take over? Like that they were saying. The mothers were saying, Krishna, you must be hungry. Can we feed you something? But Bhagavatam says Krishna did not eat. He did not drink for 7 days. He fasted. Thankfully, we are not advised to fast 7 days, 7 nights for Govardhan Puja. I think we'll just leave iskcon, I think. Govardhan is so kind, there's no fasting. Krishna fasted. But the residents ate, they slept, but they didn't want to sleep even because they just saw Krishna. They never felt tired. The gopis felt this is the greatness and perfection of existence because now we can see Krishna day and night. Everyone saw Krishna. And finally, after 7 days, Indra was defeated. Samvartaka clouds inform Indra, we have run out of rains. We are out of stock. We need to go back now. Indra reluctantly agreed. But by then, Indra realized Krishna was no ordinary boy. And Govardhan was no ordinary devotee. And the residents of Vrindavan were no ordinary devotees. So now Krishna lifted Govardhan and he put him down gently. He told all the cowherd boys, men, the cows, go back now. And as they went back, they all reciprocated with Krishna. The cowherd men came and smelled the top of Krishna's head like Nanda Maharaj. The cowherd ladies, the gopis, elderly gopis, they came and embraced Krishna. They blessed him, and they did all the drishti that you do, so that Krishna would not be too much. He would not fall ill because of this. The gopis came and stood very shyly before Krishna because they had captured him in their hearts. The boys came and punched Krishna and shook Krishna and said, Krishna, are you all right? Are you tired? And things like that. And the cows and calves came and they nuzzled Krishna and they all left. This is their relationship with Krishna. And Govardhan stood there, so powerful as a devotee. Krishna then walked away. He went to a very quiet spot near Govardhan, unseen by others. Why did Krishna go there? Because he knew Indra's pride had been smashed. And he knew now that Indra would be coming. And he did that, Bhagavatam tells us, so that he would not embarrass Indra in front of others. Look at the consideration of Krishna. Sometimes, we have this habit. If we don't like something about someone, we just say it on them. Our tongue become like swords. We don't even think of the fact that people are around, people may hear, we may embarrass someone, We don't care, we just say it. And then we say, we are very honest, Prabhu, I'm being very honest. But Krishna was not like that. Krishna knew that everybody is sensitive about when they are being chided. So Krishna went to a corner, and in that corner, he ensured that Indra could come, and Indra came with Surabhi. Surabhi took water and milk, and she poured it on Krishna like an abhishek. And Indra fell at the lotus feet of Krishna. And he said, today I repent. Today I've realized that my pride had blinded my common sense. I could not see your greatness, Krishna. Neither could I see the greatness of Govardhan. And therefore, in that mood, I forgot who I was. And I believed that I was independent of you. But actually, I'm not independent of you. In Bhagavatam, the Devatas say, Ya eka isho nijamaya yanaha sasarjayena anusjama vishwam vayam nayasyapi puraha samihitaha Pashyamalingam pritak ishamaninaha. 6th canto, 9th chapter. In that shloka, very nicely it is stated actually. I can't remember the verse, but I know it is 6-9. But you can look up. Ya eka isho nijayaya manaha. They say, Krishna, the reason why we cannot see you is because we think we are independent of you. This is the reason why we cannot take darshan of Krishna. Because we seriously think we are independent of him. But Govardhan never thought he was independent of Krishna. Govardhan always thought he was servant of Krishna. And not only was he servant of Krishna, he was also servant of all the residents of Vrindavan. So Krishna said, I have just done this to you, Indra, to check your pride. And I've done this so that you will not cause more offenses to my devotees. You are also a great devotee. Now please go back to Swargaloka and please rule, but rule knowing that I am supreme. And so Indra's pride became smashed. And Indra went back and Govardhan became very enlivened. What can we understand from Govardhan Leela? Many, many things are there. But one of the most important things is Govardhan worshipped Krishna and he worshipped the devotees by his service. This is a very important point. Govardhan's service to the devotees was unconditional. For years and years and years, he gave them everything. He supplied them all the necessities, but he never asked for anything. This should be the mood of a devotee. A devotee will continue to be there. Even if you scold the devotee, even if you condemn the devotee, even if you deprioritize the devotee never leaves you. Devotee is always there to love you and to care for you. That is a devotee. The other point that we must be very careful about is not to take devotees for granted. Sometimes, a devotee is standing in front of us. Govardhan was there, and yet they were looking to Indra. Just think about it. Govardhan was giving them everything, but every time they were praising Indra. Sometimes we don't realize the greatest of devotees are sitting next to us, just next to you. And yet we're looking at someone else and saying, oh, he's a great devotee. Now I come here once a year, and you all think I'm a very good devotee. But what about the devotees in the house? They are also very good devotees. But because we see them every day, we think, he's my husband, she's my wife. That's all they are, It's so easy to take those who are with you day in, day out for granted. And it is so easy to see someone outside and think they are very great. Govardhan never took anyone for granted. He served every resident of Vrindavan, every day, perfectly. Even if they, for a while, did not realize his greatness. This is something that we should remember. And remember the other last point. Govardhan's mood was that he never counteracted anything that was coming. Even though Indra was hurting him and attacking him, Govardhan did not counteract in any way. He saw it as a service to Krishna, and therefore he became very happy. This is Govardhan. That is why Govardhan is known in Bhagavatam as Haridasa Varya. Haridasa Varya. He is the greatest of the devotees, greatest of the Haridas. He is the greatest servant of Lord Hari. And why is he a servant of Hari? The word Hari means one who removes all your miseries. That is Hari. And if you become servant of Hari, you also have the capacity to remove miseries from other people's lives. Have you met devotees who, when you meet them or you hear them or you talk to them, you find that whatever difficulties that you have are not very great? Do you feel in the presence of such devotees that your heart is soothed and that you become very peaceful? Those devotees are Haridasa Varya. They are the servants of Hari. And because they are really servants of Hari, because Hari takes away your difficulties and miseries, they can also take away your difficulties and miseries. Jai Giri Govardhana ki, Jai Govardhan Puja ki, Jai Gaura Premanande. Are there any questions? Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, you mentioned about this not fake devotees for granted, right? And mentioned about Indra is also a devotee. So the point is like, are we not considering equally the devotees, or what was the point that you were saying that thinking the other great? So we are thinking one devotee as a great and one as a good. That is
Yes.
the point.
No, actually it's a good point you're bringing up. You see, the point Prabhu is bringing up is Indra was also a devotee. So what was wrong in worshipping him all these years? But Krishna wanted to make a point that Indra is a devotee and we are grateful to him. But to think that he is the only reason why the residents of Vrindavan are prospering is not correct. The correct point is that the residents day in day out without Indra's, whether Indra is there or not, Govardhan is always there. So we should not forget Govardhan. So the point is, when we are serving devotees, there will always be some devotees who inspire us more than others. It doesn't mean those who don't inspire us are not devotees. We respect them, but we should not take for granted those who really have changed our lives. And we should give them due credit. And that is why Krishna wanted to do some correction. Instead of always concentrating on Indra, don't forget Govardhan. And Govardhan is sitting in your own house, Krishna was saying. Don't forget that. And if you look at Indra's service, Prabhu, and you look at Govardhan's service was unconditional. Indra's service was actually more conditional. Because the Devatas always run to Krishna when they are in difficulty. The good thing is they run to Krishna at least. But Govardhan would never trouble Krishna for anything. He would take everything as Krishna's hand. So therefore Govardhan is considered more exalted than Indra actually. That's a good question. Is that helpful, Prabhu? Mm-hmm. Very nice. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, actually, to be qualified as a devotee, right?
Yes.
As you mentioned the gopis and the Vrindavan villages. One should not have any ego, pride, envy. Then only like we can qualify for becoming a devotee. But what Indra showing that he was envy to Vrindavan villages,
Yes.
and he has pride, anger, even though how justified it is that he is considered as a devotee.
Good
even
point.
after that.
Very good point. How can Indra be considered a devotee even when he was consumed by pride?
Yes.
The point we should understand is devotional service is dynamic. In one day, we can be very pure devotees. Like right now in this Sadhu Sangha, from the time we started speaking about Bhagavatam, we are all on pure devotional platform. Every one of us at this moment, Prabhu, is a pure devotee. Nobody has any pride in their hearts, nobody has envy, and nobody has any false ego. There's no anger. I don't see anyone looking very angry. Everyone is at least smiling at me. Some are not smiling, but you're sadhu. It's okay. But you're not angry, you see. That's very important. So at this moment, we are pure. But the moment we leave the house and we go home and we do this, do that, we lose our purity. And then there can be pride, there can be anger, there can be irritability. So it shows us, Prabhu, that it doesn't mean that you become a pure devotee, you're always a pure devotee. There can be moments of purity, but there can be moments of challenges also. So just because someone is challenged does not mean that he's a bad devotee. He could be having a bad day, but he's not a bad devotee. And our duty is not to judge that devotee. We recognize this devotee as an issue, but we serve them. Govardhan served everyone. Doesn't matter whether they served him. He served them. And he was very happy. So that's what we should remember about devotional service. Doesn't mean you hit a high level, you'll always be there. Very, very few, those who are really pure devotees, they will maintain their purity. Those who are struggling to become pure, sometimes we will hit purity, sometimes we will struggle. But that's okay. Krishna is there.
So just on top of that, to add on this, let's say we are facing the similar scenario in our everyday life.
Yes.
That somebody, sometimes he is a great devotee.
Yes.
But out of the box, we encountered this kind of behavior.
Yes.
So what should be the
our reaction? Our reaction is that today maybe they're upset with us for some reason. We should just accept that. We should tolerate. Tolerance is so important. Trinarapi sunichena. If we are tolerant, then we are devotees. So sometimes we have to tolerate devotees more than we have to tolerate non-devotees. That is our experience actually. And they are also tolerating us. Because we don't know how irritating we are to them, Prabhu. We could be doing things which are making their blood pressure rise. But they're saying, Prabhu, how are you? They're tolerating also. So just as we tolerate them, don't forget how much they are tolerating us also. That is a very humbling thing. It's very helpful. All right, Prabhu? Mahesh Prabhu, you have one question, then we will do Damodar. Yes.
You mentioned purity is the fourth. How do we retain this purity?
We retain this purity by being constantly in good devotional service. If we are following the devotional process carefully, attentively, then we will become naturally attracted to devotional service. That will ensure that we maintain our purity for a longer period of time. But if we are not attentive to our devotional service, all aspects of it, then our purity may be in fits and starts. And very often we are in the modes. Then we have devotional service in the modes. We may be angry, violent, proud. We may be passionate, but we are not pure in our devotional service. Is that helpful, Prabhu? Yes.
Many people say that in Sunday, when we wake up, I think we are in the mode of goodness.
Yes.
As we go to office and maybe start our work.
Yes.
We are in the mode of passion.
And when we end the day, we tend to be in the mode of ignorance.
Yeah. So how do we prolong the goodness?
So if you want to prolong the goodness, a good Mangalarti program, good rounds of chanting in the morning, it will protect us throughout the day. Narasimha Maharaj in one lecture said, if you chant 16 rounds in the morning, it will protect your consciousness for the whole day. He said that. And it's a good point actually. So that's why we should try our very best. If not even 16, at least close to 16, we should try to chant in the morning. That's what we should do. Thank you. Shall we chant Damodara Ashtakam? Let's chant and offer lambs to Lord Damodara. Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasakundalam Gokule Sachidanandarupam Lasakundalam श्रीरेखाककन्ता स्थितग्रैवं नाम दरं भक्तिभागम् आनन्दकुन्दे स्वघोषं निमाजन् तमध्यापयन्तम् जय दामोदरजी की come forward तदीयेषितान्येषु भक्तैर्जितार्थम् पुनः प्रेमहतस्तं सखा Nachanyam rineham varishadapiha idam teva purnata gopalamahalam sada me manasya virastam kimanye जय दामोदर जी की नमो देवा दामोदर अनंत विष्णु सदा प्रबोध गजला तथा प्रेम भक्ति स्वकं में प्रयच्छ न मोक्षे ग्रहो में स्थिरामोदरे प्रेम भक्ति की श्रीमती राधा रानी की Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Bol. Hare Yashoda Damodar Ji ki, Giri Govardhan ki, Govardhan Puja Maho Maho Satvaki, Bhai Gaura Premanande. Come and join us this evening. This evening we will take darshan of the large Govardhan hill at the Gauranga Center. Come and circumambulate the hill and take all the mercy of the hill. Thank you very much, Sudhir Prabhu, Renu Mataji and family. Thank you for having us over. Thank you to all the devotees who have joined us for this very auspicious occasion. Please take care. I wish you all the best. And now I have to run because I am 20 minutes away from the next program.